not a Jet. Not just because of his play. Keefe brought up his numbers the other day. I was shocked at how good they were.
I think he and Josh Allen were like Spider-Man meme. 28 touchdowns, 11 picks, something like that.
Yeah, the difference is
Josh was really good.
Josh Allen would put up those numbers and give his team the lead and then take fourth quarters off. Aaron Rodgers sucked for 3 quarters and then piled up all his numbers at the end of games with his team trailing.
At the end of the season, too, when the season was over. It wasn't just garbage time games, it was garbage time part of the season, too, for Aaron Rodgers. So, I'm not saying that his numbers were good. It was very misleading, but I think Rodgers has done that in some of his other years, too, right? He'll have really low pick numbers. He has one of the great QB ratings of all time.
11 for him was actually, I think, a very high interception
It was super high.
Season.
No, it was, but even in his Packers years, sometimes the numbers look even more impressive than what the actual season even was.
So,
but is he still playing?
Yeah.
You think he's still going to play?
I think so.
I think so, too. I mean, he's 41 or 2. He could retire. Everybody thinks he's going to go off into a cave again, and you just never. Bit of a wild card, Aaron Rodgers is. And then the question becomes, how many teams would be willing to give him a chance after seeing how badly it blew up in New York? Because we were joking yesterday about the Bill Barnwell had a quick breakdown about how much money and draft picks and other player commitment, an offensive coordinator, they literally turned the Jets offense into whatever Rodgers wanted, and they got 5 wins out of it. So, what other team would say, that's the guy we want at, 2 years? So now you're even further removed from his MVP seasons, his winning playoff game seasons. And I like Aaron Rodgers more than most. I do. But even I would be what are our other options here?
Right.
I don't know if I want to commit to that guy.
So, real quick side note on Rodgers.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a name I overlooked. How much interest do you have for the Patriots in Davante Adams? Because I don't think he's going back to the Jets now that Rodgers is gone. He's a free agent.
I have some.
You like him more than me, I think.
Yes. Yeah,
so
I like him.
That's a name we should
add to the list. Rules, as a texter pointed out. He was really good a couple years ago. So
if you were good a few years ago,
sign me up.
Keefe is still in. He doesn't know how to quit you.
Well, Adams...
Adams down the stretch last year looked honestly amazing.
He's a beast. And now people would be all it was Rodgers force-feeding Adams so they could both have good stats. But
probably.
Whatever. He still has it in him. And plus, it doesn't take much to be the best wide receiver on the Patriots, too. So, most names you throw out there, they would already jump ahead of everybody else. But he would probably fit into that group of, if you can give me 2 receivers and he's one of them, what a huge upgrade.
Yeah. Trade for Kupp, sign Davante Adams, that sort of thing.
I love it.
I mean, you love that. That's true. That's your ideal receiver room.
Best.
617-779-7937. So Aaron Rodgers, we gave you these odds the other day. But I think we agree the Raiders are the most likely destination. Just let's talk through some of the options here.
Okay.
Pittsburgh, this is from the other day. Pittsburgh 2-1 for Aaron Rodgers is the favorite. They're going to be in the market for a quarterback. Russell Wilson won't be back. I don't think since they benched Fields, they're going to go back to Fields again.
No.
I like Justin Fields. I don't think they're going to go back to him.
No.
So they're in the market for a quarterback for sure. Rodgers would be interesting there.
Seems like another wasted season, doesn't it? They need to get their stuff together. They got so frazzled by drafting Kenny Pickett and Kenny Pickett sucking so bad.
Isn't he kind of a perfect fit?
For what though? How far are they going to go? No, I don't really know.
I don't know.
Rodgers at the point where he really elevates you.
They made the playoffs with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields last year.
Russell Wilson didn't have a bad year.
No, he didn't. But neither did Rodgers, to your point, statistically. I don't think watching him he had a good year, but statistically he didn't have a bad year.
Yeah.
So Pittsburgh is in the market for a quarterback. Raiders are next, 3-1. We both think he's going to Vegas.
I could see that. I mean, Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, Tom Brady, they're just trying to be a relevant professional franchise.
If I'm him, I would way rather play with all my weirdo eccentricities. I would rather play for Pete Carroll than Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
then bring Davante Adams back. Hopefully he didn't sell his house in Vegas because he could go right back
and
there.
Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard.
Well, so you have to put your foot down there, right? Hey, Rodgers, you brought all your guys to New York and it failed. So we're going to have our own guys.
Yeah, if you want
There's
Davante,
no way.
If you want maybe the Raiders shouldn't bring in Davante Adams, but if you want Davante Adams attached to Rodgers, fine. I'm not bringing Randall Cobb.
Is it Jordy Nelson? We're not giving you Jordy Nelson. The guy hasn't played in 6 years. Please.
Yeah, but he's good. He's good once.
He
He could present the rich rules to
Eddie
him.
Lacy. We're not bringing Eddie Lacy back to you. You can't have him.
Okay, so we both think it's the Raiders.
Yes.
The 49ers are plus 350.
Don't you think they just run it back with Brock Purdy?
They got to pay him. So this is where the question comes in. How much money does he want? How much money are they willing to give him? And
is
he healthy?
Is Purdy healthy?
He was hurt at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So is he healthy?
But I think there's another old quarterback that Shanahan would rather have.
I agree with that. Kirk Cousins would make sense there. The Vikings are at plus 400. Let's get
good. Is this true? Then maybe this is true. Devontae Adams, according to a texter, hates Josh McDaniels.
Oh,
probably
good
does.
point. Yeah, didn't even think about that with him coming here.
Cross him off the list.
They should still bring him here.
They should.
Well,
remember the Hopkins thing with Bill O'Brien?
Hang on. But that's frustrating because the fact that you have Josh McDaniels here and it's an impediment to maybe getting a great wide receiver, that's annoying.
I'd rather have Adams.
That's another stupid reason to not bring in Josh McDaniels.
But I never thought that DeAndre Hopkins would even take a visit to the Patriots when Bill O'Brien was the OC, and he did.
Good point.
So, money can kind of squash everything.
They didn't land him.
No, they didn't.
But he did visit, to your point.
And that I feel like the bad blood was worse, probably.
Oh, yeah.
That.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Vikings plus 400.
So Vikings are pretty interesting.
Do you think they bring Darnold back? Let's rewind it for a second because Darnold's another name I wanted to get to in the quarterback carousel.
If they get him at a decent price, I don't think they're going to pay through the nose for him. They drafted J.J. McCarthy 10th overall. I think they're eventually going to talk about log jams. A good log jam talk in the first hour about the Red Sox. I don't think they want to have Sam Darnold for big time guaranteed money if they're going to eventually give the job to J.J. McCarthy. Plus, he did turn back into a pumpkin at the end of the year. Finally. And
Darnold. Oh, yeah.
So I think signing Sam Darnold to a huge deal, maybe not quite as bad, but it would be almost akin to the Giants when they signed Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. It was like...
That's another name, by the way, in the quarterback carousel if you want to go way down the list.
But, Daniel Jones got them to the playoffs. Well, he was the quarterback for a team that made the playoffs. But Brian Daboll got the most out of him, just like Kevin O'Connell got the most out of Sam Darnold. So when teams like that pay through the nose for a quarterback, I don't really get it. That's why, San Francisco, are they going to go nuts for Brock Purdy? You got Kyle Shanahan there, and say whatever you want about him. He can get pretty good quarterback play.
I think I would if I were the Niners. I just pay him. You can usually get out of most of these deals. People thought it was stupid to pay Goff. The Rams got out of Goff and got into Matthew Stafford. So I think you can always figure a way out of it. Maybe Deshaun Watson is the cautionary tale there, as he usually is. But Rodgers would love to go to the Vikings, I think. Stick it to the Packers, Brett Favre style.
Oh, my God.
Really follow that career arc. It's literally the same career arc.
Wow.
Packers, Jets, Vikings.
Holy smokes.
I wouldn't sign him because I'd be worried about him ruining J.J. McCarthy. Getting his terrible wacko attitude all over J.J. McCarthy, who I don't even like as a prospect.
Did he have a setback? Was he?
Yeah, I think he's not healthy.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to need, at bare minimum, another body to come in and compete Sam Darnold style. Other teams on the list, Titans, Colts, Rams at 10-1. There's a lot of smoke that the Rams might be done with Stafford or Stafford might just retire.
Well, if he retires, that's different. I don't know why you would get rid of Stafford and bring in Rodgers.
If Stafford retires, would you bring in Rodgers?
No. I think they're getting rid of Kupp. I feel like they're going in a direction where if they do move on from Stafford, or if they're forced to move on from Stafford, don't you just try to go young and try to do a rebuild on the fly? They've kind of been able to do this. They've traded all their picks at one point. They've spent a lot of money. Then they've kind of, some of those guys have moved on. Aaron Donald retires and everything, and yet they've still been pretty relevant. They still find ways to make the playoffs. So
they won a wild card weekend this year.
I think you're better off. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see Sean McVay with another really young quarterback. However you get that guy, but no, I wouldn't go Rodgers.